text that you're writing in there. It's also for audio, video. You can grab stuff from the web and put it in there. You can put images in there. There's so many things. So it's really a great place to put everything. So when we say it's an electronic notebook, we really mean that. There's so much that's available there. So with that said, let's dig into it. So first, you're probably going to want to start out by creating a new book, and you're going to do that by opening up OneNote, going to File and New, and this will allow you to name it and then save it. And you can see I have a OneDrive here, which is Microsoft's cloud drive where I can save things. I could select someplace on this PC. If I go to the standard place that comes up, if I didn't have a OneDrive, it would create it in my documents in OneNote notebooks. So that would be the folder where it would create it, but I can certainly do it from any location. So you're going to create that notebook, and then when you come out, it's going to show up over here on the left-hand side. So there's a couple of different ways that you can use the navigation on this side. You can actually close it if you want to, or you can display all of the notebooks that you have open. You can also use this little expand button right here to show you all of the different sections and section groups that you have available. So it's all in however it works best for you. All right, so creating sections, as you go along, you'll want to organize your information in different ways. So one of the primary things that you're going to be creating are sections, and that's these tabs right here. So to do that very easily, I just come in, click on the plus sign to create a new section, and then it's going to default to whatever section number you're on. But if I wanted to create a new section and name it Tech Bytes, it's as easy as typing it in and just hitting enter. Now I have my section, and in here I can add different pages. And again, that's as easy as clicking on Add Page, and I can put in whatever this information is that I want to say. Let's say it's a OneNote, and I'm going to save some information on OneNote. You'll notice that what happens here is as I type that in over on the right-hand side, it's going to put that name in my page navigation. So I can see that really quickly. So let's look at some of the things that we can do. Obviously, we can start out by typing some text. And as I hit enter, it's just going to go down. And I can keep adding information that way. You also have your typical Microsoft Office tools over here where you can change the font, the color, if it's bolded. I can also make a list if I want to do that. So all of those normal type of text formatting that we have available, styles and so on. One of the things that you see over here that's a little bit different is the tags. And if I click down here to see more, I can see that there are really quite a lot of different tags that I have available to me. And the thing that's nice about these is that you can actually use it as a checklist, like a to-do, or you can flag something important. Depending on how you're using OneNote, it may be certain things are more valuable to you than others. If you need to make a phone call and you're taking notes on clients, phone number might be one of those. If it's a contact, you can certainly flag it that way. And the nice thing is that later you can go back and click on Find Tags. You can sort or search for those different tags that you have in your OneNote, and it will take you right to that section. So if you're looking for, oh, what were the phone calls that I had to make, you can find that really quickly. One of the ones that's used really common that I use quite frequently is to-do. And with to-do, that's simply a checkbox. and then I can come in and type whatever it is that I need to do. When I have that completed, I can simply check it, and then I know it's completed. Other things that you can use, obviously any of the ones that are in here, you can have multiple tags on the same item. So those are really useful. I would definitely encourage you to take a look at them. You can also create your own tags. You see here I have a couple. These I've created. So one of the things that we do is we have a shared notebook in our department, and we may be assigning different tasks to people, and I've created custom tags. These two are actually used in meetings. So we know that when we add something to be discussed in a meeting, we can flag it with that person's symbol, and then we know that as I hover over, I can see that that's me. So they know to look to me for this one, the same way I would look to someone else if they had their tag there. So I would know who's going to be presenting that section of material. So tons of things that you can do with that. Just, you know, really as you kind of look at how you might use it, I'm sure that you'll find some really helpful things there. So basic sections we've got our pages over here. And something else that you see over here are groups. So these are actually section groups. And it's just a way to collapse if you have a lot of different sections up here. It's certainly one way to organize it and collapse some of these. So these are actually, and just clicking on the administrative assistants, and these are sections that apply specifically to the administrative assistants. So here I have different sections with different pages in those sections and so on. The way that I get back up to that is just by clicking on this up arrow. It's going to take me back. So I see that that is a way that I can group things. So perhaps I would use it, like in this case, in departments. So everything that we would need for administrative assistance is here. For sales, it's here. So just kind of looking at this as, let's say this is a notebook for the FlyKite software company, and this is going to be a notebook that's going to contain their procedures, just one idea. So in here you can see I've got a table of contents, and in here you can see that these are actually, they look hyperlinked, and indeed they are. You can link these pages from these different sections and the corresponding pages and create a table of contents. So if I want to go to something specific in this, I don't have to navigate through it all. I can just click on the link and it takes me right to it. So the way that we do that is, let's say that we want to create something right to the reports page. So we're going to look at how to do this employee productivity report, and we want to get right to that page. So I'm going to come over to the right-hand side. I'm going to right-click on it, and I'm going to choose Copy Link to Page. Now I'm going to go back up to my table of contents, and in here I'm just going to come in and I'm going to tab in a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste in that link. So another great thing about OneNote is that it's automatically saving while you're typing this in. So there's no save button. So this is already there. I know if I close out this notebook, I open it back up, this link is going to be there for me. So when I click on it, now you can see that it's taken me into that administrative assistance section, and it's also given me that point right to the employee productivity report. Okay, great. So we could continue to do that with sales and marketing or any other type of information that we wanted to put in our table of contents. The other thing that we may want to do is, as we are working through, you can imagine if we were actually creating this report section for these administrative assistants, we may have a number of reports that they would need to know how to run. The nice thing about having this kind of documentation is that when somebody new comes on board or if someone's filling in for someone else, it's all right here in how to do it. So we might have quite a few of these, and I'm just going to go ahead and add a couple. And we may have different sections. So let's say in this case, we're going to run these reports for the CEO. So I'm going to drag this untitled page up. I'm just holding down my mouse button to drag that up. I'm going to click on that page now. At this point, it's untitled. But let's say this is called CEO Reports. And these are the different reports that I'm going to be, or the administrative assistants are going to be running for the CEO on a regular basis. This employee productivity report is going to be one of those. So I want it to show up under and stay with CEO reports. So what I'm going to do is create that, make it a sub-page. So again, right-clicking here, and then come down, and I'm going to click Make Sub-Page. So now this way, I can see very quickly when I click on the reports, and if I added additional sub-pages down through, I can see all the reports that pertain to the CEO. And you also might see over on the right-hand side, there's a little arrow there, and that will collapse that. So you can imagine if I had a list of maybe 20 different things, that it might get a little bit overwhelming here on the side. So I can certainly collapse that. You can kind of tell that there are pages underneath it, and then when I need to, I can expand that. So really nice kind of organization there. Makes it a little bit easier to read and see what's going on once you get a lot of stuff in there. All right, so you saw how we could move pages pretty easy. You just take it, drag it where you want it to be. We also can move sections. So, and that's as easy as just taking a hold of the section and dragging where you want it to go. Now on my screen, it's a little bit dark and kind of hard to see, but there is an arrow that shows up in between those tabs that shows you where it's going to land. So I'm just going to go ahead and let go of that. So now I've moved my meeting minutes up. So pretty easy to do. So it makes it nice because you can very easily reorganize it. You can also copy pages and move them to other locations. So again, easy to keep it organized. As things grow, you might need to reorganize a little bit. So you can certainly move. You can copy a page. You would just click on it. It's going to ask you where you want to put it, and then you would select the appropriate location. Same thing with the sections. You can right-click on a section and you can move it. I could move it into another section. Perhaps, you know, there might be one out here if I move outside of my administrative assistants. There might be one out here that I want to move into admin. Perhaps it got in the wrong place, or we decided now they're going to take on this role. I can take that and I can move it or merge it into another section. So pretty nice that you can kind of go around and do all of those different navigations and just reorganizations. So one of the other things that I have found that's really helpful for me is being able to use templates. And I'm just going to start on, click on a new tab or a new page here, so we can kind of see what those templates look like. If you go up to the Insert menu, over on the right-hand side, you'll see Page Templates, and it's going to show me some that I've used recently, but I can also select Page Templates, and that's going to bring up a whole list for me. Now, there are lots of templates in here to choose from, so let's just click on a business one, and let's say we're just going to use a simple meeting notes. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and I can see that it throws in the template. So I have an agenda. This is where I can keep all that, the attendees that I have, and action items that come out of that. I can go through and create this meeting, change the title, And the nice thing is that once this is all filled out and completed, it's very easy to send an update to everyone. If they don't have access to this OneNote notebook, I can go, not to File, but to Home, and I can actually email this page out. So it's great because it makes it very easy to take care of all those things right away. So again, if there's action items for different people, you could use those separate tags to tag who it is that's going to be taking care of those. If I had quite a few things, I could actually come in and insert a table and organize them in that way. Another idea too is that you can share these workbooks or these notebooks on the network. So if you have a network where people are accessing shares that are out there on a server, you can create one for a department or for the company as a whole, put it out there and share it. The thing that's nice about that is that people can come in and they can update their section of it as needed, and it will also show their initials on the side, so you will be able to see it. It'll be really evident. I don't have one in here right now, but once you test that out, you'll see that it will actually put a little line and you'll see the person's initials, so you'll know who made those changes. So kind of going back to the templates, there are quite a few different ones in here that you can use. You can also create your own. So if you start with a blank page in here, when you save that page, you can save it as a template. And down on the bottom, you can actually, so you see create new template there, but you can set a default template for this section. So if this was always going to be meeting notes, let's move over to staff notes, actually, the staff meeting. If I was always going to have the same template for my staff meetings, I could actually come in here and tell it to use a specific template for that. So I could say, hey, let's just use to be a project list, or you can see there's lots of them in there. Maybe I want it to be college ruled or simple meeting notes. So whatever it is that I want this default to be, I can create that there. And then when I create a new page, each time it's going to put that template in there. So it's just another way to really save time. And I actually do use this a lot with meetings that we have. Another thing that you can do with your meetings is you can actually pull information in from Outlook. So if you also use Outlook, you can come up to meeting details, and it actually looks at your Outlook calendar and sees what meetings that you have and gives you a selection. So let's say I wanted to put in some notes about today's webinar from 12 to 1. I can click that, and it's actually going to put in what the subject is, what the location is, all of that information, and now I can go ahead and take my notes from here. So let me put that on a blank page because it might be a little bit clearer. So again, I'm going to click on it, take a look at today's meetings, and I'm going to choose this one because it's just a little bit different. So notice that it automatically put in what the subject of my meeting was, when it is, who is a participant for that meeting, and now I can go ahead and begin my notes from here. So really nice to be able to do that. If I also had that person's phone number, etc., it would also put that in there as well. Now I can also create action plans on this for after the call. Perhaps I need to follow up with someone or something like that. I can go ahead and put those in, and I can also flag them with different tags. So very nice to be able to do that. Now what goes along with that is Outlook tasks. So really nice feature that it has. Say there are some things that I do need to follow up with on this. Say I need to contact Mary about the order. So here, this is something that it's a to-do item for me, but I want it to show up in my Outlook tasks. I can come into Outlook tasks up here, And I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to say, when do I need to have it done by? Today, tomorrow, this week? So I'm going to choose tomorrow. So now it's going to put that little flag in there for me. The really cool thing about this is that this task is now going to show up in my tasks in Outlook. So if I go in there, if you're someone who uses that functionality a lot, you'll see that there. So it's really neat to be able to do that. And what happens is when I complete the task in Outlook, it's actually going to update this, and it's going to mark this as a green check. So I know when I go back in and I look at it, I can actually see that, yes, this was completed. So really nice feature. I do love that one. Comes in really handy. All right, so we talked about templates. We talked a little bit about creating your own and about how to set a default template. We've inserted some meeting notes. Another really nice thing that you can do, talking about all the different kinds of media, we mentioned that in the beginning, that you can put in here. So let's take a look at what some of those things are. They actually, not only does OneNote work really well with Outlook, but it also interacts with Word and Excel and the rest of the Office suite as well. And one of the ways that happens is by opening up, I just have a Word document here, and what I want to do is, let's say that we're working on this flyer that's going to be going out, and I want to be able to share this with the sales team. So I'm going to come in and go to File, and I'm going to Print, and in this case I'm going to send it to OneNote. And what that's going to do when I click on Print is it's going to pop up with a little box somewhere. There it is. And it's going to say, okay, where in OneNote do you want to put that? So let's say I am going to put that in the sales group. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to open it, and I'm going to put it in if. Okay, so really quickly here, now I have this in there. So we can discuss it, or we can keep this as a, hey, this is what we did last year. Perhaps we have all of the different events here, so we can always refer back to what it was. So very nice to be able to do that, or even if you have other documents and things that are in Word, or if they're in Excel, it's great to be able to go back and take a look at those and keep them in a really organized way. You can do the same type of thing with Excel, and you can also drag and drop. So let's take a look at what that would look like. So over here I've got just a section in my documents for this webinar, and I've created this expense report. So now I want to take that expense report and I want to actually put it in here. So I'm going to take that and just drag it on and drop it, and it's going to ask me, what do I want to do with this? How do I want to insert it? Just as an attachment file, or do I actually want to insert the spreadsheet or a chart or a table? So in this case, I'm going to say, I'm going to insert the spreadsheet because I really want you to see what the functionality here is. So now I've actually inserted this, and it has a number of different tabs on it. So that's why you're seeing different sections here. So it has different sheet tabs in it. So I'm looking at the expense trends. And if I need to make a change to this, I can do it right from here because it's actually inserted the spreadsheet into this OneNote page. When I click on Edit, it's going to open up the Excel workbook, and then I can go ahead and make changes from here. When I'm finished, I would then click Save, close it out, and now I'm back to my OneNote. So really great. It just goes along with being able to keep everything that you have that's electronic together. Another, one second, I'm going to move up here a little bit. So another file that I have in here that I just want to be able to throw in there is this image. So I'm going to take this image of the sailboat, I'm going to take it and just drop it in there. So you can see how easy it is to get content in there. Another thing that I might want to take a look at is this brochure. So here I'm just going to add another page. You can see it applied my, my default template there. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off, set it back to no. I'm going to close this guy out, and we're going to add another page. Okay, so this is, let's say this is going to be called brochure. And now I'm going to take it from here and drag it over. Now the last time we did it from Word, we did a file print and print to OneNote. This time I'm taking it and dragging it in. So you can see it gives me a little different option here. If I just select attach file, it just becomes an attachment. And then when I double click it, it will open that. So there's my brochure. If instead I wanted it to be inserted and insert the printout, I could do that as well. And there it is. So love those features. It just makes it so easy to save all of your information in one location. One other thing that I want to show you that I showed this to my daughter actually as a side note, and she's in college at the time and doing a lot of research and papers and so on, and she just fell in love with this program because one of the things that it does is mark whenever you pull anything in from the internet, it'll mark where you got that content from. So let's take a look at what that looks like. It makes it super easy for, if you have to do citations and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just select this information here. I'm going to do a Control-C just to copy it. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to create a new page and paste it here. And you can do a Control-V or a right-click paste. So here's that information. And you'll notice some of the formatting might be a little bit different, but generally you have the information here. You'll notice that all the way on the bottom, it gives me a link of where I got this information from. So anytime that I need to go back and refer to this, I have the link there for me. And when you're doing any kind of research, in technology, we are often looking up articles and knowledge-based articles and things like that, and we're pulling information in and kind of creating a knowledge base for ourselves. And as we do that, it's just so great to be able to come back and know right where that came from and be able to go there just by clicking on it if we need to get to that section again to refer to it. So love that. Not only can we do, but wait, there's more. Not only can we do things from the internet, you can also print to it as well. You don't get the link if you do a file print from, like, say, Internet Explorer, but it will print it in as if you printed it on a page. But other things that you can put in there as well are, you saw we did pictures, so you can definitely drag and drop images in there. You can attach files to it. You can also record notes in there as well. So let's just take a look at the Insert menu and look at this. Here's another way that we can attach files, create spreadsheets. You can certainly put a table in. The nice thing about the spreadsheets and the way that we did it with the one earlier where we actually embedded the spreadsheet is that you have the full functionality of Excel there, so that's nice. You can also do screen clippings. And down here on the bottom, if you see, hopefully you can see that down there, if I right-click on that, it gives me an option to take a screen clipping. So at any point, I can grab that, just click on it, and then I can grab a section of the screen that I want, and it's going to paste that right into wherever my cursor was. So that's a nice feature. You can also do it from here. Pictures, again, we kind of looked at that. Online video, you can link things. But here's the thing that I really wanted to get to, that you can actually record audio or record video. And it can be, so say you are at a seminar or in a meeting and you want to be able to take notes. and record that information. You can actually do record audio, and it will put in, yeah, it's not going to let me do it right now because I'm already doing another recording. But you could click in record, or if you have a webcam, you could do record video. And once you click that, it's going to put a little icon here that shows you that you're recording. It'll take you to the recording screen where you can stop the recording when you're ready to. But the other nice thing about that is that as that is recording and you're taking notes, so you're in here, okay, and you're taking notes, what's actually going to happen is when you play this back, it marks these sections of the notes that you took in the timeline of the recording. So when you play it back, it's going to move down through your notes as you play the recording back. Likewise, if you want to get to a specific section of the recording, let's say you are, learning about Pluto. I don't know. Let's say you're learning about OneNote, right? And you want to get to that section on OneNote. So all you would need to do would be to come over and click on this side, and it would take you right to that section in the recording where it talks about that. So really a great feature that it has to be able to help you record notes. Also, we have the date that we can insert. We have a time that we can insert, or we can do both at the same time. And I frequently use this if I am responding to a client, or if I want to make a specific note of something I did and when. That's a great use of that. And again, we're back to our page templates, and you guys probably know about these, being able to insert equations or symbols. That functionality is here as well. Another thing that we have is on the Draw menu. One of the things that you can do in OneNote is to actually do freehand. So I can come in and I can use my mouse, not very well, but I can use my mouse to draw things. And some people will be more successful at this than others, but it is there. It's a feature that you can use. You can change the color thickness. You can put shapes in. One of the things that I find really useful is the arrows. It's really nice to be able to put arrows, or, if I want to create like a flow chart or something like that, very easy to do in that way. But the other nice thing that you have is if you are using OneNote with a tablet or something that allows you like a touch screen that will allow you to use, even your finger. But particularly, I use it more for, I have a Surface, and I use that with my Surface to write. Because it has an electronic pen, I can take handwritten notes. And so you do have the ability, and I have one in to show you, that this is a handwritten note that I did on my Surface. So now I can take this and I can actually change it into text. Now, it's not perfect, but I'll tell you, that's certainly, if I had a whole page of notes, that would certainly be much quicker than keying it all in. So now I have this, and if you can see that on Tend, it was not quite right. This should say text. And if I just undo it and go back, but when you look at how I wrote text, you can kind of understand why it might have put that. But all in all, it's pretty good. And now I can just come in and I can make those really quick changes, and I'm good to go. So we talked about now attaching files. We've talked about tagging notes and looking at table of contents. We've looked at how we can do that, how we can update tasks in Outlook. We've looked at creating handwriting in the tablets. So one other thing that I wanted to show you was the ability to share this on a network. And kind of talked about that a little bit already. But one of the nice things about it is that if you have a section of this that is sensitive and you don't want people to get in it, or you only want a certain handful of people to be able to access a certain section, then you can just password protect that. Here I'm just right-clicking on this section, and I can password protect this so that only people who have the password can get in and make changes to that section. That you can do that, and again, it just kind of goes to keeping all of these different things together and being able to have it all in one place. I just found it such a useful tool. I'm really hoping that you guys have gotten something out of this, and you can see ways that you might be able to use it in your own businesses. So again, kind of going back to some of those practical examples that we talked about, you could certainly create like software manuals in here, different things that you need to do for procedures. You can have to-do lists in here for yourself. You can create them for other people. You can put even client information. I have a few people who like to keep all of their clients in separate sections and then have pages for different contact that they have with them. So there's lots and lots of different ways that you can use this, and I leave it up to your imagination to come up with some of your own and personalize the way that you might use that. So I think at this point what I'd like to do is I'm going to send out another poll and just get an idea if you found that it's something that you might be able to use now and you see some ways that you might be able to use it. Just trying to kind of get that feedback, and I'm hoping everybody says yes because I love this software and I just think it's so useful. Great. All right, so going to close this poll, share it out, and hopefully everyone can see that. So, the majority of people said, yeah, they could see how they might be able to use that. If you were in the no percentage, please contact me. I find it so valuable that I would just love to explore how you might be able to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. And then I think at this point we're going to open it up to some questions. I think, Bill, did we have some questions? How do you start a group? Okay, great. So I think this is what you're talking about, like the administrative assistance group. So let's take a look at that. If I want to start a new section group, I can come in here, click on it. I can create a new section group from here, and then I can call it whatever I want. Let's say it's marketing. Now, if I have sections that I need to be able to move in, I can take them, drag and drop them. So now I have that section that's in there. So real easy. Hopefully that answered your question, Lori.
Hi, Pat.
Sorry. Okay, great. That's all right.
Do you have a list of questions there in front of you, or do you want me to go through them?
I do.
Okay.
I see some people wanted the materials, so we'll make sure that we get that out to you, including this notebook.
Is the functionality similar to Outlook 2013?
I'm not sure. I think maybe what you're saying, what your question is asking is in the, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking what you're getting at is because I'm using Office 2016, is the functionality going to be the same in Outlook and OneNote 13, the way that we talked about the task working back and forth, and yes, it is. So hopefully that answers your question.
How do you start a group?
That one I actually just answered for Lori.
Okay. Would your IT department make it a shared file?
So can you do that? Yes. If you have an internal IT staff, you could definitely ask them to put on the appropriate permissions to share it on the network with the people who it makes sense for you to have. So.
And is there any history of crashes and data loss with OneNote?
Yeah, so, and I'm really glad that you brought that up. There is a section in here called History. And in here it actually keeps different versions of your pages. So if you ever need to go back and look at different versions, you can come in and click on page versions, and it will show you over here on the right-hand side different versions of that page. So you can see here that this was before I made the change of adding the employee productivity report. So this is actually going back to that. So I can see the different versions that I've had there, as well as it has its own recycle bin. Kind of crazy, but true. But I love it. And you can go in and you can actually look at the recycle bin, and you can see what pages were deleted, and then you can restore them from there like you would any recycle bin. So yes, so you can go back and look at those.
Okay. And that completes the active questions. 2 people got back that you answered, and yes, that answered their questions. We did have one person asking if we could they can get a recording of this, and I do believe we are recording this.
Yes, we are.
You can do
so
that.
Yeah, and once the webinar is done, you'll get a survey probably tomorrow, and it'd just be really short, just 5 questions if you can answer that, and you'll also get a link to the recorded session as well. So.
So that's it. If you wanted to continue with any other material, that's the end of the questions for now.
Okay. I think that's great, and I appreciate everyone coming, and I hope that you found some value in it, and looking forward to the next one. If you want to wrap it up, Bill?
Yeah, so the next one will be in July. Haven't set a date yet. Because you're all on the email list, you'll get a notification, but I just want to let you know that that's going to be on Excel pivot tables. That's been a highly requested topic. Also, our next e-newsletter comes out also around first week of July. You'll get a copy of that. So again, we'll get materials out to you and copies of recordings, and we want to just thank you for joining us and spending your time today with us. We'll talk to you next time.